Okay. Let's get back to it. I forgot I was doing some stuff. Hey, Shandy. Donald Duck in it is wild. Look. Donald Duck in it. Winnie the Pooh. You know, there's a few options, but you know that it means top, no bottoms. And I mean that in the clothing sense. Bearing in mind some of the other things that we talk about. No, I mean wearing like a t-shirt but no trousers. To be fair, you'd never know anyway. Exactly. Unless I have to stand up for some reason. No comment. I was clearing out my armory chest in case you couldn't tell. Fuck it. Ideally, you'd press the button that hides the camera before you have to do that. Unless... To be fair, I don't actually have a hide webcam button on my Stream Deck for that, but I do have this one. Which, yeah, that doesn't really work. I don't have one for my Final Fantasy XIV sources. Yeah. I'll need to be a little bit careful. I have a mute button still. I just don't have anything for hiding the webcam on this view. You're safe from me. Standing up is reserved for the struggle times, usually. Yeah. Changing to a scene with no cam is effectively the same. This is true. This is true. I do have stuff set up, just not necessarily in ways that is intelligent. But when do I ever do things intelligently? Come on, Daddy needs a new Night Pegasus. Son of a bitch. Okay. Couple of things. One, I have done some Bosnia. It has been a long, long time coming. But I have done some Bosnia, and I have a couple more relics. I have Blade's Subtlety for Ninja, which would look cool if it wasn't green. If this was red, I'd probably fuck with it. They don't look bad without the glow, but they're just kunai, which is kind of basic. And then I also got the samurai one, which honestly, the samurai one doesn't look bad. I have better stuff at this point, but the samurai one is possibly one of the best ones so far. You can get the matte versions without the glow, but I already have better stuff than the kunai, but yeah. So we'll know you're Donald Duck in it if I have to change scenes before I get up and go do something. Got it. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm working on that, which means I'm now on... I'm working on Bard and the other Fizz ranged. Then it's Magic, and I'm done. So I am 75% of the way done with Delibram Regine. But I still need to do 21 clears. I did 10 No, in fact, I think I did 15 the other day. And I still need to do 15 clears of Dalriada. But progress. Progress. I've also been working on the Dawntrail ones. Forget what I was doing with them. Which one am I currently working on? I just had my tracker up. Oh, I just finished another one. Oh yeah, and I've just started Sage. Yeah. That's where we're at with that. I finished off Ast. Which, to be fair, I don't hate the stage 3 for Ast. I just... It still has nothing on the anima relic. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. Delibrum resonates the one thing that makes you want to not keep doing your Shadowbringers relics. Yeah, they're the reason why I've taken like a several month break from doing Delibrum. I have done every element of the thing. In fact, do I still have... I do, there you go. I have done every element of the process except Time Worn Artifacts and Raw Emotions. And it's just the sheer amount of times that you have to do Delibrum Reginae is just so painful. So painful. It's the people in it. It's not even the content itself. So, like, the thing is, for me, Delibrum is just boring because it's not that interesting of a dungeon to, like, repeat it a bunch of times, even without it being part of the relic process. And then it's just the sheer amount of times that you have to do it is kind of ridiculous because it's 5 times per relic, and there isn't really any other way to get time-worn artifacts. There is one other way, which is Palace of the Dead, but it's not a guaranteed drop, and I think you only get 1 every 10 floors that you clear. Whereas you can do Delibrum for 3 of them and time-worn artifacts in 20 minutes if you get a good party. The problem is, you don't always get a good party. And you've got 10 minutes forced queue time before you get into the dungeon, so even with a good party, you're looking at a 30-minute each run in order to get 3, so you're getting 1 every 10 minutes, but that's still quicker than you can do 10 floors of Palace of the Dead. Reliably. Like, you can't do 10 floors of Palace of the Dead in 10 minutes in order to, even if it was a guaranteed drop of 1 every 10 floors, to have the same, like, drop rate, as well as getting raw emotions. It's nice that you also get raw emotions from doing Delibrum, but I wish... I was talking about it in a group that I was doing some runs with, and we realized there is no reason other than dyeable artifact gear and a triple triad card. There is no reason to do Memoria Miseria, or whatever it is, Miseria Memoria, the trial from Bosnia, the trial that everyone forgets exists. Memoria Miseria. Like, if this gave artifacts and stuff, then you know what? Fair enough. It would give us a reason to do different content. It would give people a reason to do this, and all the rest of it. And it's just, there is no reason to do that more than like once, unless you want the glam. That's it. Your ass just doing Pass of the Dead anyway because you don't want to deal with the personalities in Delibrum. That's fair. I'm in a Discord that does a lot. It's a Discord centered around Bosnia. And there's some pretty good people in there. So I have been relying on them to be honest. And I got into a really good party yesterday, which is why I did 10 runs with them over the course of the day. But like, I was having to play music. I was putting my desk into standing so that I was like dancing along to the music whilst doing Delibrum because it's just so mind-numbing that it's easy to just fall asleep. I think, is it a Journey to Remember? Is that the quest? I think it might be. You just lost count of the number of times when there were constant content gremlins having meltdowns because a new person happened to not have damage essences on them. Well, it's like, this is the thing. If I'm doing a re-clear run, I don't mind having new people if those are the only people that are available. But if I'm going to be doing multiple runs, I don't want new people. So, like, I would happily help someone get through their first clear, and then I'd replace them. But I don't want someone that doesn't have damage essences joining me for 5 runs. If it's just one person, it doesn't really matter. But if you've got multiple, like, you can really feel it. This isn't multiple runs, this is in a matched queue situation with randoms. Oh. I mean, fair enough. If you were doing it on content, then yeah, the matchmaking would have worked. I mean, technically it still works, it's just there's not enough people queuing for it to actually function. I have had matchmaking. We've gotten a 6th person multiple times recently, which is just bizarre. And really annoying because the best echo is at 5 people. But yeah, anyway, I know too much about Delibrum Regine at this point. Because I also tank it. So, yeah. I know that dungeon like the back of my hand at this point. And I can make sure that I never die. Unless I fall asleep. I can make sure that I never die. I can make sure that I don't need a healer, because you don't really need a healer in Delibrum anyway. But what I can't do is make other people do more damage. Yeah, once you get a good party that's going through it quickly, you kind of want to stay in it and just do as many runs as people can stomach. Which for me is about 10. If I've done 10 runs in one day, I've had enough. I mean, and that's like 5 hours. That's about 5 hours. Get ready for warrior designated off tank. Please look forward to it. Yeah. It's going to be interesting seeing how everything changes. But I'm not too worried about it. I'll adapt. The main reason that I like Warrior is just because of raw intuition. And I can see Warrior is still going to maintain that. Because, like, in my head, Warrior has always been more of the ads. Like, it's a multi-target pull is where Warrior shines. More so than single target. Whereas Paladin shines more on single target than multiple target. Which makes sense in, like, a main tank, off tank perspective. Off tank should take the ads. That's an incredibly simplistic way of thinking about it, but that's always kind of been the way it's worked in my head. Warrior has got a lot more sustain for if you're dealing with multiple enemies, whereas Paladin doesn't as much. Like, Paladin is very, very good for one-on-one, not as good compared to Warrior at dealing with multiple enemies at once. But that's because you should be... I'm interested in seeing in how they do the counter system with Paladin, which is about the only thing I know about the new combat styles. Because that might make me actually enjoy playing Paladin. Because at the minute, Paladin is the tank that I don't click with. But maybe that'll change. We'll see. I'm interested in how they're going to change things generally. I'm really interested in what Beastmaster is going to be like, and what the new classes are going to be, and what direction the new expansion takes us. So, yeah. Anyway, it's been 15 minutes, nearly 20. Let's actually get on to what I was supposed to do today. Yeah, this is the thing. I've got this on my other character, but I don't have it on this one. And it's actually a decent glam piece. Is it not dyeable? I thought it was dyeable. Huh, okay. Excuse me, miss. Do you have a moment? I'm Ramumu with the Harbour Herald, and judging by your dress, you're one of those well-travelled adventurers I've heard so much about. No doubt one as worldly as yourself's heard the rumours of an unusual warrior maiden from the Far East. Danger constantly follows in her footsteps, and the Far Easterners I've spoke with claim her dress and fighting style and nothing they've ever seen. Do you know what happened the last time a strange warrior from unknown lands came to Eorzea? That upstart, Peter Winsome, practically stole the parchment from my desk to write his story. Our readership soon doubled, and he's been regarded as the Harbour Herald's finest reporter ever since. That should have been my story, and I'll be damned if he beats me to this one. But if following her is as dangerous as it sounds, I'll need an adventurer like you to keep me safe. If you're interested, meet me down at Costa del Sol. That's where she was last spotted, so that's where I plan to start. You just know a lot of folks who were really insistent that Warrior is objectively the best tank that doesn't need healers and is immortal and whatever. Well, like, yes, Warrior has the best sustain against multiple enemies. As long as you have multiple things to hit with Bloodwetting, Raw Intuition, like, you can go from no health to full health really, really quickly. The fact that you can share that healing with someone else through Nascent Glint, really, really useful. Shake It Off as well, really, really useful. I think Dark Knight would also be very similar if you got the spit... What is it? It was not spit roast. It's like spit and tear? Was what it was called? Carve and spit. Carve and spit and Abyssal Drain. If you had Abyssal Drain every 27 seconds, same as Bloodwetting Raw Intuition. I think that Dark Knight would be up there as well, but of course Dark Knight has the Blackest Night, and so it's more about mitigating through the shield instead. But like, to me, Dark Knight feels like it's missing that health regen, especially as a Dark Knight. Like, you can get just as much health back as with Raw Intuition from Abyssal Drain if you've got enough enemies, but you can only use it once. And Spit and Carve and Spit, I think the potency on that should be much higher, because it's only single target. Like, realistically, you have no benefit from a sustain perspective from using Carve and Spit or Abyssal Drain if you're fighting one enemy, because it gives you the same heal. To be fair, does Abyssal Drain even give you multiple heals, or is it just the one 500 potency heal? Because now that I'm reading that, it's been a while since I've played Dark. I'm not sure that even functions the same. I'm being reasonable and actually comparing pros and cons. Yeah. However, Warrior has one fatal flaw that makes it worse than any of the other tanks, in your opinion. Abyssal Drain does activate per number of enemies. Okay, good. Yeah. Because, like, the fact that those heal the same amount for one target is ridiculous to me. I feel like Carve and Spit should at least do the equivalent of 2. Because if you've got 3 enemies or more, it's better to use AoE anyway, because it's a DPS up. Whereas if you're only dealing with 2 or less enemies, you want to be doing single target for DPS anyway. So I feel like this should, by default, do 1,000 cure potency, so it's the equivalent of doing Abyssal Drain on 2 things. But meh. Meh. I don't play Dark Knight, so it is what it is. Yeah, what's your flaw that you find in Warrior? Is it home gang? And the fact that unless you use Raw Intuition, and again against multiple enemies, like home gang can leave you in an incredibly bad spot. This is, of course, assuming that you don't have a healer or healers that are going to get you back up. Because home gang will leave you at 1 HP. But then again, you used to have the same issue with Super Bolide, where it would leave you at 1 HP. Although did they change that in Endwalker, or when Dawntrail came out, so that it only did half your max HP instead of getting you down to 1? I forget. I remember that they changed it, I just don't remember when. Is that it's the most boring to play of the 4 of them, in your opinion? I like Warrior. Just from its DPS rotation, I enjoy. Whereas I feel like with both Paladin and Gunbreaker, you end up pressing that 1-button damage combo, and so you're just pressing that 1 button. Whereas with Warrior, you know, I'm doing Inner Release, then I can do my Fell Cleaves, then I'm doing my Infuriate. Whilst I'm doing this, I've got my Upheaval going on. Yeah, but I am going to be biased because I play Warrior. So I appreciate that, and that is an incredibly subjective preference thing. think it's just that Warrior's, like, burst is very easily defined, but also feels meaty. Whereas, to me, Gunbreaker and Paladin don't feel as meaty. Although, I say that, I haven't played a lot of high-level Paladin in a very, very long time. Like, Gunbreaker's base, like, its 1, 2, 3 feels better than basically any of the other tanks, because you have the shield on Brutal Shell on the second hit instead of the third. But even compared to Dark Knight, I prefer Warrior. But maybe that's just because I'm not utilizing the Blackest Night well enough, which gets you more uses of its burst. Warrior is all meat, but you need some veggies and potatoes too. That I can get, yeah. Warrior is massively geared towards just doing damage. And then it has a couple of really powerful, I'm going to get my health back now things compared to any of the other tanks. How you doing, Tingles? We doing another stream filled with yappers? Possibly. But no geopolitics yet. Like, Warrior feels like... I know that Gunbreaker is often considered the DPS tank, but Warrior, I think once you get Bloodwetting rather than Berserk... No, sorry, Inner Release rather than Berserk, Warrior really feels like the DPS tank. You remember when you were leveling Warrior, everyone kept telling you just wait until you unlock Fell Cleave, then you'll understand. You unlocked it and you weren't impressed. Give your 2 cents on this. You like Paladin because Holy Tank or Cleric like tank healer combo. Yeah. And what we've, because you've just come into this, Tingles, what we've sort of agreed on is the pros and cons of, like, I am a Warrior main when it comes to tanking. I would still describe myself as a healer main in completeness, but when it comes to tanks, I'm definitely a Warrior main. But, like, Warrior is really, really good for dealing with ads and groups, and, like, that's where it really shines, is with dealing with multiple enemies at once, whereas Paladin shines more from single target, like bosses, which is why the whole, like, main tank, off tank thing kind of makes sense comparing the two of them. Yeah, you like Paladin and you like Dark Knight, which is what I expected. I knew that you'd like Dark Knight. I have a feeling that you'll like Gunbreaker as well. Because Gunbreaker is a bit... Gunbreaker is more similar to Paladin than it is to Warrior or Dark. Whereas Dark is more similar to Warrior. But, to me, it feels like Dark Knight is missing a couple of tweaks to make it have a similar amount of sustainability compared to Warrior. You feel like Dark's a more interesting version of Warrior with actual resource management? I would probably agree with you if it just had that little bit more sustain. I don't need it to have the amount of sustain that Warrior has, because Warrior has ridiculous amount with Raw Intuition and Equilibrium. But I really do feel like Dark Knight just needs the health recovery on it bumped up a bit. But then again, you know, if you're using Living Dead, you get healed from that. So maybe I just need to be invulning more. Maybe that's... Maybe it's just that I'm not a good enough Dark Knight, which I'll hold my hands up and say I'm not. I'm not a good enough Dark Knight. I'm arguably not even a good warrior. And I'll be the one arguing to say that I'm not a good one. I'd argue I'm not even a very good healer most of the time. And I don't know rotation, so I'm definitely not a good DPS. I never do positionals. I'm not a good DPS. So, all of this to say, I'm generally just bad. Oh, Dark Knight definitely has more mit. Yeah. Warrior doesn't have much mit. Like, Warrior only has Shake It Off and Thrill of the Battle as its mitts. And Thrill of the Battle isn't really a mit. It's just increasing your max HP. And it's healing you for that, so it's more of a heal than anything. Oh, okay, no, Damnation does give some mit. I forgot that it gave some mit. I thought it was just damage counter. Okay, so no, that is better than I thought. But yeah, Dark Knight has more mitts, but Dark Knight doesn't. Without using Living Dead, Dark Knight doesn't have as much recovery. But nothing has as much recovery as Warrior, because that's kind of what makes Warrior different. You feel like Dark is a more interesting version. That was supposed to say 2 up there. Oh yeah, when you said 2 faves. We all share the brain cell and one of us doesn't know how to spell, so no one knows how to spell. Yeah. So it doesn't need as much sustain because you don't lose as much HP necessarily. Yeah, I am obviously going to be tarnished by the fact that I mostly play warrior, and so I approach tanking as a warrior, which is if I take damage it doesn't matter because I can just heal myself. But yeah. I generally don't mit against trash pulls as a warrior because as long as you're a high enough level that you have raw intuition, you don't need to mit because you just raw intuition off cooldown every 27 seconds and maybe do arm's length or damnation if it's a particularly large pull. But then generally your healer can keep you alive long enough to get to the next raw intuition, then you're topped up to health, and then usually 2 raw intuitions at most, and you've killed a pack of enemies unless your DPS is fucking terrible. So that's changed the way that I approach pulls, because I approach them as a warrior. I should probably play Dark Knight some more and get used to using the Blackest Night to try and learn it more. Because I do understand mitts. I think I've been spoiled by warrior in that I've not needed them unless I'm in a boss fight. And when you're only fighting one thing, warrior isn't necessarily that different from any of the others. without the unique mitts that the others have. You're still having war flashbacks from Bring Warrior, Cannoneer, only Occult Crescent gold farming party finders? Yeah. I mean, Warrior is ridiculously good in field operations. Like, I think that was when I sort of really got stuck into Warrior, wasn't it? Was when I was doing Eureka. Maybe. I know I did a lot of Red Mage. I mained Red Mage and Eureka, but I also did some Warrior. Anyway, things and stuff. Enough yappy yaps. It's been another 15 minutes. It's taken us 15 minutes to accept a quest and get to the second point of the quest. Each time. Yeah. Ah, you're here at last. I was beginning to think you wouldn't come. She was here just a few bells ago, or so I was told. You're just incredibly tired of the class you don't enjoy playing being presented as the only valid option by players who like to optimize the fun out of gaming. Oh, yeah, no. I don't agree with that shit. I don't agree that there's only one way to play a game. Like, there's loads of different ways, and it depends what feels good for you. I will say that if you are going to be doing things that are inherently more min-maxy, like trying to do on content, like savages and ultimates and shit like that, then you need to expect that there's going to be some min-maxing, because there are going to be certain things that just are inherently better suited for it, because not all of the classes are created equal in this game. Like, Viper has absolutely no party buffs. So, you know, if you're a good Viper, you might do enough DPS that it doesn't matter, but otherwise, maybe it would be preferred that you be a Reaper, Red Mage, or Dragoon, so that you can provide some benefit to the whole party. That kind of thing. At the same time, if that's necessary, potentially you're not at the level that really matters anyway. So, but I play for the fun of games. You mean optimization as the player, not as the devs? You expect the devs to optimize the game? Yeah. All roles can clear the content still. Exactly. Play the game to enjoy the things that you're doing. Take a hobby as a second job is not healthy for anyone. Yeah. Could you imagine turning a hobby into like a part-time job equivalent? No. You'd make intentionally non-optimal gold farm parties, and then have people join your clearly labeled party finder and still try to convince you to play warrior cannoneer. Yeah. I dislike that when people just run with what the meta is without necessarily thinking for themselves. There's a lot of people like that, though. Because, like, I'm a dex. I like dexterity in Souls games. And a lot of the time, dexterity is looked down on in the meta. And people instead focus on just big, chunky strength builds. But I like my dex builds. After there are differences, sir, you knew I was going to do that shit as soon as you sent the message. Yeah, because I'm a little shit. Anyway, look, over there. Could it be? I didn't want to wait 15 minutes again. Hello. She kind of looks like Mulan. Begging your pardons. Please do not think me strange for asking, but can you tell me if we are close to Selbina? Or perhaps Maura? I fear I am hopelessly lost. If someone said this is meta, thanks, I'll avoid that, yeah. Selbina? Maura? Sorry, dear, but you're on the eastern shore of Vilbrand. Eastern Lenosha, to be precise. Take it you're the Far Eastern traveller that's been the talk of the taverns as of late. You've cut quite the warpath through Eorzea from what I've heard. Yes, I hail from the Far East, but... Vilbrand? Lenosha? I cannot recall such names. Though, truth be told, I cannot recall much of anything since awakening in these strange surroundings. Byrogot's beard? You mean you've lost your memory? I remember my name is Iroha. I'm training in the way of the glaive, though I feel I am still a novice. Before awakening here, I was on a mission to... forgive me. It is hard to make sense of what little I can recall. The only clear thoughts in my mind are my master, and a powerful technique I labor to perfect, Amatsu Kyori. I'm certain it is essential to completing my mission. Ah, interesting you'd remember training above all else. Perhaps that's the key. If you continue to practice your master's teachings, it stands to reason other related memories might come back to you. Recalling my mission by first recalling master's teachings. Yes, that does seem plausible. I do not doubt many of the techniques I learned have a specific purpose. It would only be a matter of focusing on this particular one. This is the scoop I've been looking for. A Far Eastern warrior on a special mission? What if we're in danger? This isn't some fairy tale like Peter's story. People need to know. But she's no good to us if she can't remember anything. Help us so we can get to the bottom of this. Here. Take this map before you go. Training won't do you any good if you get lost now, will it? Your kindness is greatly appreciated. Thank you. To journey alone in this strange land would be a trial all on its own, I'm sure. Might we explore the shore south of here? I recall mention that the beach was an excellent place for training. Something about the aquatic wildlife being suitable for sparring? If the creatures here are similar, I would very much like to try my hand against them. And I trust you'll ensure she has every opportunity to do so. Now, don't let me keep you. The sooner she remembers her mission, the better. When she's had her fill of combating critters along the coast, perhaps you should rest in Limsa where it's safer. Bulwark Hall should do nice. It's the first place you'll see after coming through the gates. Bye. Yes, so the way that this event works... Oh, I'm that low level. Okay. Of course, I'm level 30. Is that there's a bunch of fates, kind of like the Final Fantasy XV one, but there's a storyline where you need to do the fates in a given order. You know what, that's a point. If I can get it to work. If it's level 30, I may as well play Dark Knight. Because I might actually remember how to play it. Yeah. Bye. There we go. Bulwark Hall. Training at the beach was invigorating. It's been too long since I enjoyed such sport, fighting alongside one so well versed in the arts of war. I'd like to think I improved my form by following your example. At first, I doubted crabs would be suitable for practice, but I was quite wrong, testing my strength against their hardened shells, swing after swing, over and over again. I could easily spend days or even weeks at a time battling them. If only I could remember who suggested this training regimen. Oh my, what a peculiar stone. I sense something within it, something familiar, something dark. A grueling battle in the cold against evil made manifest. The Lord of Shadows, long dead yet somehow resurrected. The fate of the realm hanging in the balance. I remember! And yet, I'm not convinced these visions relate to my mission. Why would Master entrust me with the means to slay such a foe? The answers must lie within my memories. They have to. All the more reason I must hurry to complete my training and perfect Amatsu Kyori. While waiting for your arrival, I asked a couple of travelers from Gridania, I think, where I might find creatures of a more dark and unusual nature. They told me of a place called Hawk Manor, a cursed estate whose grounds play host to various sorts of hellish monsters. These creatures sound like promising opponents, full of the fury and cunning I would expect in a true battle. Now then, let us be off. When we are finished, we can meet in the nearby town. Yes, there's a fate near Hawkman. You're going to go back to listening to your podcasts. See you, Tingles. Cheers for coming by. I will talk to you later. Oh, not that fate. In 4K. I was in Limsa Laminsa. I'm doing RP, aren't I? No, I'm doing the event. And someone has just asked me if I want to do rollies. But no, I don't ERP. At least not for free. Says the guy currently Donald Ducking it. Aesthetically, I find Limsa the most pleasing, and geographically, I find it the easiest to navigate. That is all. Like, Gridania is nice, but it's awkward to try and get places, like, especially to get to the inn is really awkward. Whereas with Limsa, like, you teleport in, you've got market boards right fucking there. You're one quick Ethernet location away to get to the Grand Company and to the inn. Whereas Gridania, you load in and you've got like a 1 minute run. I mean, probably not even that. You got a 30-second run in order to get to the Grand Company. But then you have to get the Ethernet in order to get to the market boards. And if you need the inn, you can take the either run there or you can get Ethernet to the airship landing and then run from there. But no matter what you do, it's just kind of awkward. And I don't like Uldar. Aesthetically, Uldar's the ugliest. And it's somehow still awkward to navigate. What am I doing? Get out here, burnt tendies. I really don't need to be Dark Knight for this. This would be a lot quicker if I went, like, Red Mage. I know I shouldn't be doing my AoE, but I'm lazy. My AoE is one button. Oh. Well, that was easy. To Gridania! I'm going to have more cake. Because I made it. I may have had cake for breakfast, but I made it. That makes the calories less. Because I invested the calories in making it. That's how it works, right? Enjoy my meal. Yeah, it's a perfectly balanced meal. Thank you for once again aiding in my training. To witness such majesty and grace on the battlefield is truly inspiring. It served as a wonderful lesson in combat. I mean, there is fruit in it. It's lemon, but there is fruit in it. Oh, you have found yet another strange stone. Yes, it radiates with a warmth much like the last, but the color is... Wait! Do you hear that? Hey, Preesh. A long and arduous journey, together with a young girl. This vision is not what I expected. We fought many battles together, and we were not alone. No, I dare say our comrades were well beyond counting. What business would I, a lowly student, have undertaking such missions? I cannot make sense of it. Still, I must thank you for this. Before meeting you, I was hopelessly lost. smothered by a fog of fear and uncertainty. But now I have your light to guide me. You brought me yet another step closer to completing my training and unlocking the memories still dormant within me. After speaking with a few of the patrons here before you arrived, I believe I found the perfect place to continue honing my skills. The Sagoli Desert. If what I was told is true, a creature of unspeakable terror roams the sands. They say its strength is impossible to gauge, as no one lives to tell of its great might. But together, I believe we can lay the beast low. When we have finished, we can take a hard-earned rest in Uldar. Your brain is like, is it something to eat? It's a meal. That's fair. Forgotten Spring? No. Yeah, no. Forgotten Springs. That would be the best place. It's been a while since I've been to the desert. I mean, technically there is meal in it. Because it's got flour in it. And flour is just wheat meal. Very, very fine wheat meal. It is interesting that the like origin in most languages of the word that means meal is still like it's focused around the main starch, and it's usually like a grounded or pounded carb. I think the event quest spawns sooner than an hour. I think it's once every 10 to 15 minutes. Just straight stunting on this this sweet little ARR paladin. Sweet baby. Doesn't even know ABCs. All belly crew. Important to know your ABCs. Oh yeah, this is Circuit Breaker. Yeah. Because I've done Circuit Breaker 2 a billion times in Eureka Animos. But yeah, this is Circuit Breaker. I can't help but notice that the ARR sprout ain't doing nothing. You ain't gonna get no credit for this. And Uldar. Stop. There are no words to express my gratitude for your assistance. Never in my wildest dreams did I imagine confronting the legendary circuit. If not for you, I would be but one of the countless victims who succumbed to its poisonous sting. Another stone. Yes, it comes to me now. A mortal struggle. Forbidden magics uttered in a final bid for salvation. Hey, Fenrir. Yeah, turns out she was just in Eureka Pyros this whole time. It all makes sense now. Pitched battles, the arduous journeys, the fellowship of adventurers. It was not my life that I recalled, but rather the tales of a great hero I mistook as myself. I suspected such feats were too extraordinary to be my own, and the memories held within this stone have removed all doubt. They were of a journey into the past, one that revealed a horrible truth I dare not repeat aloud. And I remember my home, Vanadil. It is not some territory or continent, but an entirely different world. My true memories return to me now, and it's all thanks to you. More importantly, I believe I now understand how to wield a Matsukyori. It should not be long before my path home is clear to me as well, but first I must see my training to its completion. While waiting here, I heard unsettling stories of a foul beast terrorizing Bronze Lake. This is the perfect opportunity to put into practice everything I have learned. Today's the day I wield the power of a Matsukyori. After this last endeavor, let us meet in Limsa Laminza. In fact, it's just easier to do this. Oh. Is it already here? Yeah, it is. Oh my god, she's going Super Saiyan. Or some shit. She did a little dance. I hope she didn't make a little love. But this guy's going down tonight. Yay. At last, the power of Amatsu Kyori is mine to wield, and my memories are slowly but surely returning. None of this would have been possible if not for your unwavering guidance. To think I could have forgotten a mission so vital. My resolve was unyielding, my mind focused on the task before me. In the end, I fear I may have jeopardized all I had held dear. As I told you earlier, my home is, or rather was, a world known as Vanadil. Try as we might, its destruction could not be forestalled, but fate saw fit to give me one last chance. I was allowed to travel back in time, to escape to the past before the darkness had consumed all. Together with the heroes of the past, I knew that tragedy could be averted, just as it had been so many times. Master was the greatest of them all, a hero without equal, whose grand adventures I mistook as my own. I cannot help but feel I'm still forgetting something else important, something that happened to Master. Suppose in time it will come to me. Before I leave, might we go and speak with Ramumu? If not for her insistence, I would have been bereft of your assistance. It would be rude not to extend my thanks to her as well. Oh, she's still just, in fact, it's going to be easiest if I take the lift, right? To the drowning wench. Ah. Iroha told me the good news. Her memory is, for the most part, restored. Perhaps more importantly, her training's complete. If you hadn't come with me to Costa del Sol, that's right, I've just picked my accent back up. I dare say she'd still be swinging at crabs along the beach. The beach? Now that I have you here, I'd very much like to talk to you about my story. About what you're doing here before we arrived. How exactly did you come here to be... How exactly did you come to be here in Eorzea? That's right, I've dropped my accent again. And you say you went back in time, trying to save your world? Yes, you have the right of it. No life was spared by the darkness. None save for mine, that is. Fate intervened, and I was sent back to the past, to a time where I could find heroes capable of saving Vanadil. This is how I was reunited with Master, although at a much earlier time than I anticipated. The last thing I remember is a fierce battle and a strange light. When next I awoke, I was here, to be torn away from Master when I was needed most. My heart feels like it may burst. How awful. You were close then? Master was like family to me, and an exceptional warrior besides. I've spent my entire life striving to become such a hero, and live up to the legends I so fondly remember. It all began with the stone, or so the story goes. In ages past, a sentient jewel, enormous and beautiful, banished the darkness. Its light filled the world with life and brought forth mighty gods. The world entered an age of bliss. That is, until the gods fell into slumber. That world is my home, Vanadil. It was home to three great nations, the Kingdom of Sandoria, the Republic of Bastok, and the Federation of Windhurst. Powerful as they were, though, in times of strife they would turn to a single hero, my master. Be it a demon of rage seeking vengeance, or a spiteful god our destruction, Master was always there to pull us back from the brink of oblivion. I recognize some of this stuff now. You returned from the store, you found mango Jaffa cakes. Oh. So long as there is light and life in the world, the legend of Vana'diel's greatest hero will live on. I really need to play 11. There's little wonder these stories were the first to spring back to my mind. I have all but memorized them, but no matter how many times I asked, you would always... Oh, please, excuse me. For a moment, when I looked at you, something in your eyes reminded me of Master, and I... Wait, we have a crossover event? Yeah, it's the Maiden's... The Rhapsody of the Maiden's Journey or some shit. It's the same event that they've held before, where you get her armor set. Don't worry yourself over it. I imagine our friend here often has that effect on people. Yeah, you'll almost certainly have it on your main. I realise how ridiculous this seems. Anyone in their right mind would think it's some fanciful dream. But for me, this world is the dream. And now it is time to awaken. When next I open my eyes, I'll be home in Vana'diel, once more at Master's side. This may be just a dream, but it is one I shall never forget. Thank you for everything. And then she disappears just like the rapture, leaving behind nothing but her clothes. Didn't work. It would seem I'm not yet ready to return. Is this perhaps the will of the goddess? If it is by her will, then so it shall be. I vow to work hard every day to become a warrior worthy of your teachings. Then, when the time comes, we shall meet again, here in Eorzea, or perhaps in the waking world. There goes the greatest story I'll never get to write. An adventurer from another world travelling back in time to save her people. Who's going to believe such a silly tale? I'll leave the flights of fancy to Peter, but for her sake, I hope she finds her way home, wherever that may be. Ding. Heaven 11. There we go. We now have another thing to add to the pile. Now 'tis time to work that wood. God damn it. More junk. Yeah, but at least it's junk that can go in the armoire. Yeah. You have wood for me. Uh-huh, I'm sure you do. I also have just seen that you've logged in. Oh, dear God. Yeah, it's not a terrible set. It's just odd that you can't dye it. To be fair, I might have a use for the ribbon. Even if nothing else, I might have a use for the ribbon. Okay. Who do I accept the quest off of? Is it Beaten? You think you used the pants because of the skirt? Yeah. Is it Beaten? Yeah, it's Beaten. We gotta get back to beating that wood after all. Ah, after. The very Carpenter I thought to call upon. One of our new recruits seems dispirited of late. Though I have approached her on numerous occasions, she's reluctant to share her troubles with me. Mayhap you can try talking to her. She's like to be far more receptive to a brave and amenable woman such as yourself. Semi is her name. You can find her out front treating cedar logs. Nope, that's a rat. What do you want? Good gods, you're after famed adventurer and Beaton's most promising disciple. What are you doing here? Ah, yes. That. It's nothing I can speak to. It's nothing I can speak to most of the other guild members about, much less Timbermaster Beaton. You see, it's our guild. It's in peril. Our sales continue to plummet, and if this downward trend is to continue, I know not what will become of it. What concerns me more than that, however, is the toll this has been taking on the Timbermaster. He's been working tirelessly and refuses to stop to even eat or drink. It's almost as though he's attempting to make up for everything at the expense of his own health. If this continues, I'm afraid he won't have the strength to grip a saw, much less restore the Carpenter's Guild to its former glory. But not all is yet lost. I may have found a solution. If we were to speak with some of the locals to learn what kind of furniture designs are currently in demand, we can alter our products to fit their tastes and improve our sales. It is, however, a rather monumental task for someone to take on alone. Doubly so for an inexperienced carpenter like me. Please, will you help me? Oh, thank you very much. Now then, let's begin by interviewing potential customers at the Carline Canopy. Zoom. Hello. Ah. What sort of furniture have I been buying? Lately, I've been purchasing a lot of Far Eastern style items. After all, that's what's popular nowadays. I recently finished building a house in the lavender beds and have been furnishing it with Doman-themed furniture. The bold yet delicate patterns prevalent in much of their work greatly resonate with me. Oh yeah, I can't just do that. Oh god, the yawns have started. Furniture. I must say the Hingan furnishings trickling in from the Far East have struck a chord with me. People are often far too eager to forsake their own heritage in exchange for keeping up with the latest fads. I, on the other hand, take great comfort in knowing my furniture embodies generation upon generation of tradition. How is it that furniture from the Far East is so far surpassed the popularity of our local products? Gridania's home to carpenters whose skills unmatched. Or at least so I thought. At this rate, our guild will fall into obscurity. We must convince Timber Master Beaton to immediately begin producing Far Eastern style furniture if we're to have any chance of surviving. Had I more clout with him, I wouldn't hesitate to march in there and tell him as much. But as it stands, I'm afraid he won't take what I have to say seriously. If you, his star pupil, were to accompany me, however, my words will hold far more sway. You'll come with me? Fantastic. Let's go and pitch my idea to the Timber Master then. Fucking hell. It's a sugar crash is what it is. It's from eating the fucking cake. That and reading. I suppose the two of you are here because there's something you would like to discuss? Very well. Have at it. Sir, as you might already be aware, Far Eastern furnishings have recently been flooding the market, with men and women all across Gridania, Eorzea even, only too eager to buy them. We're at a great risk of falling behind. I believe, however, if we were to get ahead of this trend and begin manufacturing products of Oriental design, we can convince more customers to purchase from us and improve the status of our guild. Oh, you think producing crude imitations will suffice? I'll not have it said that we compromise on quality. If you're truly committed to this proposal, I'll support you, provided you accept one condition. You are to travel to Kugane. There you will immerse yourself in their rich history and culture, both of which have given shape to their craft. Developing a greater understanding of these things will allow you to produce items of a similar caliber to those found in that very region. That's it? That's the condition? Of course, I'd be delighted to go there. In fact, I shall make ready to depart post-haste. Wish me luck. I'll send you a letter once I arrive. Wonder if she truly understands the purpose of my sending her there. At the very least, she seems to have overcome her despair. I suspect I have you to thank for that. Well then, I suppose all that's left for us to do now is to await her letter. Oh yeah, there's still job actions that I don't have as crafters. I've received word from Semi. She's made it safely to Kugane. Or rather, that's what I've surmised from this letter that goes into great detail about the various new foods she's tried there. While I was the one to suggest she embark upon this trip alone, I've come to rethink my decision. If this letter is any indication, she needs a mentor to guide her in her studies in Kugane. Someone to keep her from becoming distracted from her goals. I'd like for you to be that person. To ensure she accomplishes what I sent her there to do, I'd have the two of you search out local residents who appear to be troubled. Employing your carpentry skills, you have to find a way to solve their problems. Thank you, child. It's good to know that I can always rely on you. I imagine there are a number of things you need to tend to before you leave, so I'll say my farewells to you here. Till you return. Oh. Where is she? Probably... There she is. I was going to say probably upstairs. After. It's the miracle that our paths would converge so soon, and here of all places. I certainly hope you've been enjoying this splendid city as much as I am. I've only just arrived, but find I'm already completely enamored with its people, foods, and customs. Everything here is so different, so unique, something which can no doubt be attributed to Kugane's extended isolation from the rest of the world. Take, for example, the delicate motifs that recur in much of their work. You'd never be able to find this in Eorzea. Forgive me, surely you didn't come all this way to listen to my musings on such things. Though, why exactly have you come here again? For me, you say? This is fantastic. Together, we're sure to have a grand time touring the area and taking in the sights. So, Timbermaster Beaton would have us search for troubled citizens and fix their problems with our swords and hammers. What a brilliant idea. Not only will this help me improve my skills, it will also afford me the perfect opportunity to establish my reputation as a carpenter. We haven't a moment to waste. Let us scour the streets and see if anyone's in need of our assistance. After I thank the matron you're here, I found someone in need of our services. There's just one teensy problem. Why is it no one will ever listen to what I have to say? She approached me asking if anything was wrong, so I thought this time it would be different. As soon as I began talking, however, she sat down and began banging her tools together. Please, I cannot take this anymore. Madam, I need help. Your help. I'm just so fed up with the way I look. With this lank hair and these plain features, I melt right into the crowd. No one ever remembers who I am. After this, even you will probably forget me. My confidence dwindles by the day. It's to a point where I must summon every ounce of courage to even speak to someone. I'm so sorry. I had no idea you felt that way. Oh, Mother was right. I need to learn to listen instead of jumping to my own conclusions. Don't you worry, madam. We'll find an answer to your problems. Now please, if you would, allow me to escort you to the Shiokaze hostelry, where you might wait while we figure out how to get about this. In the meantime, can you go and interview some of the Mujikoza actors? Surely they'll know how best to gain people's attention and have more confidence. Hey, have I ever been ignored by an audience? Of course I have. When that happens, you pack a bit more powder onto your face and spruce up your costume. You'll find yourself standing a little straighter, talking a little louder, and moving a little bolder. That's when you are sure to steal the show. Confidence? You ask me of ways to gain confidence? The best way to do that would be to improve yourself, whether that be from the inside out or the outside in. That's right, you feel ugly? Whack some makeup on it. A woman who feels overlooked and is not confident in her own skin. That simply will not do. Perhaps your friend should try using cosmetics. Changing your external appearance often has the added benefit of transforming how you feel about yourself. and how the world perceives you. I'm really sorry, but why do you look like a male model just with female hair? Take us, for example. We are an aggressive, burly bunch with a dash of eyeshadow and a bit of blush, however. Even we will turn into a gaggle of girls before your very eyes. When we think we are girls, we become girls. Simple as that. Oh. That would be why. That is the male. Oh, yeah. Thank the gods you finally returned. Please, please, please tell me you've thought of something. What can we make to help our friend raise her self-esteem and be noticed? A fine spear to strike down all who pay her no mind. A dazzling lamp to attract the attention of all passers-by, and moths. A lavish dressing case to be filled with powders and blushes. Wonderful solution. Cosmetics will allow her to enhance her features so she might stand out from the crowd. When people begin paying her more attention, she'll be sure to regain her lost confidence. While you were away, I took the initiative to gather some materials. Here, have a look and take what you require. Everything we spend will be reimbursed by the guild, so don't feel the need to hold back. Wow. That was so hard. Do you truly think there is hope for me? Here, whap some makeup on your face and no one can tell that you look the way you look. A dressing case. It is incredibly beautiful, but I fail to see how this will help me. Oh god. So you're saying altering my look will change the way I feel about myself and how people react to me? It's certainly worth a try. Wallowing in self-pity as I've done until now will fix nothing. This box, however, might. May I have a look? It's so beautiful. Everything, down to the very last detail. It's been crafted with such delicate precision. It's no wonder Timbermaster Beaton holds you in such high regard. Even with years of practice, I doubt I'd be able to craft anything so splendid. Madam, please accept my sincerest apologies for the earlier distress I caused you. I should have been more considerate of your feelings. No, 'tis I who must apologize. If only I had the strength to convey my thoughts and trust in my own voice, none of this would have even been an issue. Besides, I dare say that meeting the two of you may well be a turning point in my life. From the bottom of my heart, I'd like to thank you for your help. I wish you all the very best in your endeavours. The words have lit a fire within me, unlike anything I've ever felt before. While I've been nothing but a hindrance thus far, I promise I won't be for much longer. Thank you. Without you, I think that lady might never have found a way to conquer that which has been holding her back. Do you think there'll ever come a day where I'll be able to address the client's problems with the same swiftness that you do? Oh, but what am I saying? With a little practice and effort, nothing's impossible. There is much for me to learn, and it's time I take full advantage of all the Far East has to offer. Together, let us refine our skills and convene once more. when we've gotten them to the level we are satisfied with. Ah, After, you're here. Since we last met, I've been working day and night to improve my shortcomings as a carpenter. I'm leaps and bounds from where I once was. Until now, I've been undependable. I promise you, however, that from this moment forward, you'll be seeing an entirely new side of me. To prove to you just how much I've changed, I took the initiative and found us a new client. Her name's Ume, and she runs the local tea house. I've even finished crafting the item she requested for us. Are you impressed yet? Well, there's more. I'm scheduled to deliver it to her at a shop. You'll come with me, won't you? After all, my first successful business transaction is something you'll not want to miss. What do you mean you can't use this? I took special care to listen to every word you said. This is exactly what you asked for. This charming little sign's certain to attract droves of customers. Exactly what I asked for. It's a far cry from it. I told you I wanted something which would help me establish a base of regular patrons. This is an advertisement aimed at the general public, the precise opposite of what I need. Even if I had requested this ridiculous sign, what makes you think it would do anything to convince customers to come here? The writing on it is illegible. You can scarcely make out the name of the shop. Oh dear. Help. You brought a friend. You look like you've got a good head on your shoulders. Perhaps you'd be able to help me. Excellent. While I cannot quite place my finger on it, I suspect my tea house lacks something in the way of ambiance. I'd like for you to figure out what exactly that something might be and make me furnishings or accessories to improve it. If you find yourself short on ideas, you might speak with some of my customers. Mayhap you can ask them for their opinions on what would enhance their experience here. As it seems I'm no longer needed here, I shall return to the Shiokaze hostelry and ready some materials for you. Once you decide what it is you want to craft, come look for me and I'll provide you with what you need. Apologies, but I was just on my way out. If only this place were more willing to accommodate smokers, I'd be that much more inclined to stay. Ah, yes. Smoking. How would I go about improving this place? While I've no complaints about tea or food, it'd be nice if they had books or a place to smoke to help pass the time. For all the good food and drink, it still lacks warmth. I'd come here twice as often if they had a corner where I could sit back, relax, and have a smoke after a long day. I know not how to apologize to you. Seems the harder I try, the more work I create for you. If only I could figure out what it is that I'm doing wrong. I thought my problem was listening, so I made sure to take note of every word that came from our client's mouth, but it made no difference in the end. But I digress. Now's not the time to be dwelling on my failure. Let us concentrate on fulfilling the tea shop proprietor's request. Do you have any ideas on what we might make to satisfy her? A nice onsen where people can relax, a cudgel with which she can defend her establishment, a pipe box so people can have a smoke and unwind. That's it! I've noticed many men and women in Kugane do indulge on occasion. Setting a pipe box in the area is the perfect way to invite them to have a leisurely smoke after they've finished their tea. It's certain to keep them coming back. Now, let us set about making it. You'll be needing this, maybe some of that. Oh, of course, this. Here, that should be everything. I think the tea house owner's quite eager to receive her delivery. If you could finish the pipe box and see that she gets it quickly, It'd be greatly appreciated. The key to running a successful business is cultivating a loyal clientele. I need for you to assist me in doing just that. A pipe box, you say? But of course, why didn't I think of that? Most of my customers smoke. Inviting them to do so here after they finish their sweets and tea will no doubt encourage them to stop by more regularly. Do you see now, little lady? This is what I was asking for. Ah, yes, it's crystal clear now. After as a master carpenter, and in contrast, I'm nothing but a miserable failure. Might I take a look at that? Great gods, Timbermaster Beaton, what are you doing here? I felt the call of wood and followed it here. Ah yes, the intricate metal inlay, coupled with the finely polished wooden exterior, leads me to believe that this is your work, after. You have quite the sense of humour, child. My dear lady, it seems my protege here has seen fit to furnish you with a pipe box in the truest sense of the word. What, pray tell, do you mean? A pipe box holds ash, and this peculiar one is made of ash lumber. Mayhap, however, you would need to be a carpenter to fully appreciate the joke. Mayhap indeed. All jesting aside, I'd like to thank you for this magnificent gift. I cannot wait to see the reaction it will elicit from my guests. Semi, from what I understand, after made a pipe box at the request of a client. Tell me, why is it that you also did not craft one? I'm sorry, sir. I've been giving it my all, really, I have. But the sad truth is that nothing I make's good enough to satisfy anyone. That's why I thought it best for me to stick to simply gathering supplies. It is always a struggle in the beginning, but that is no excuse to quit. Failure builds character. Character which will allow you to grow as a craftsman. While it may not feel like it, you've grown a great deal during your sojourn here in Kugane. However, it's time you packed your bags. You are to journey to Yonksha next, to the lands beyond the Ruby Sea. Yes, sir. I shall make ready to depart straight away. I'll be going ahead of you, but worry not. Once I arrive, I shall send you a letter telling you where we can meet. Demi, before you go, allow me to say this. You have a firm grasp of all the basics and a sharp intuition. Besides, there is, however, one thing that is holding you back. You strive solely for perfection. Remember, your purpose is not to create something flawless, but something authentic. Something unique that will be cherished for years and years to come. What's up? Why are you yelling at me? Do I need to put a blanket on so you can jump on me? Probably. Eh. Okay then, baby. You wanna come and jump on me? You can. And now she's fucked off, because of course she has. How exciting is this? I'm going to Yongsha. Don't you fret after. Like I mentioned earlier, once I've settled in, I'll send a letter to you by way of Kotokaze. This time I have every intention of living up to Timbermaster Beaton's expectations. Why, I dare share fucking hell. Why, I dare say we shall even be returning from our journey here with a tale or two on how I charmed my way into the locals' hearts with my carpentry skills. Till we meet again in Yongsha. Manipulation's a nice one to have. Ah, after. A letter from Semi's just arrived for you. Shit's fucked. Help me. Dear After, I'm writing to tell you I've arrived in a tiny village in Yongsha known as Namai. It's such a delightful place. Every day I stumble across something new, whether it be the unusual materials they employ in their construction or the unfamiliar but delicious foods. Ah, yes, the food here is exquisite, and the desserts are even better. In fact, the sugar-coated dumplings they have are simply to die for. I'll be sure to treat you to some when you come. See you soon. Yours truly, Semi. Where'd she get to? There she is. Stop. After, how wonderful it is to see you. It's been far too long. It's been 5 minutes. Have you tried any of the local cuisine yet? If you haven't, I know the perfect place for us to start. I was planning to take you there purely to discuss business, I swear. After all, we're better to do that than over food. Ah. Alright. Your disapproval's been duly noted. Instead of going for food, let's search out any people who might be in need of our assistance then. Help? Yes, I could use some of that. You see, in the days before the Empire held dominion over our lands, I was a chef. While our freedom from them is fleeting, I would nevertheless like to use this opportunity to once again pursue my passion for cooking. As such, I've been thinking to open up my own restaurant. To do so, I would need to procure basic furnishings for my future shop. It's not a simple task. Most of what I've come across is either far too expensive or of poor quality. Then you may be pleased to hear, sir, that before you stand 2 highly skilled members of the Carpenters Guild in Gridania. We shall see that you receive the furniture you require. You would do this for me? Most certainly. What kind of furnishings is it that you need? Apart from tables and chairs, I need something that would allow my guests to feel at ease. Those from the Enclave have different dining habits to those of us here in Namai. I'd like to create an environment where both would feel equally welcome. Please, leave it to us, sir. Now, what do you say to making things a tad more interesting? Let's turn this into a competition. We will each make something for our client and present the finished product to him. He will then judge them and decide on a winner. Pretty please. Won't you do it for me? This is the only way I can show Timbermaster Beaton I'm just as skilled as all the other carpenters in the guild. Haha, it's settled then. Go about making the furniture however you will, but I recommend you speak with the people here before getting started. Some have lived here their whole lives. Others once lived in the Enclave. With their help, you may better understand the subtle differences in our ways. Thank you, sir. We'll be sure to do that. After, once you've decided what you'll be making, come find me. I'll furnish you with any materials you might need. The only difference is that table manners are practically non-existent out here. The people have good hearts, but they have no sense of etiquette. They'll eat their food on the streets and sip their tea in front of you. One should take their meals behind closed doors with family or friends. It'd be nice if they'd at least eat behind a partition of some sort and spare the rest of us the sight. I'd say that the people from the Enclave are more elegant than us. Never seen one with a hair out of place or in clothes that have not been neatly pressed. They place great importance on rules, manners, and fashion over there. Yes, I suppose you could say I'm from the Enclave, though I've lived here for most of my life. When I was young, my family and I fled to this village that we might escape Imperial troops. What? You'd like for me to demonstrate the difference in dining habits? I'm afraid that's not something I can help you with. Well, you were no help at all then, weren't you? Fucking waste of my time. Ah, have you finally decided on what you'll be making? I'll be building the entire restaurant from the ground up. A wooden shield to protect the food from, well, you know, ornate partitions that can be hung between each of the tables. Partitions? But that seems so dull. That's not what you're really thinking to make, is it? Wait, you're not trying to lose on purpose, are you? While I know I'm not yet as good as you, never did I think that you saw me as so far beneath you that you'd feel the need to do this. My apologies, it seems I jumped to conclusions again. I know you're not the type of person to do something like that. It's no excuse, but lately I've been on edge. I can't shake the feeling this is my last chance to convince Timbermaster Beaton that I'm a capable carpenter, worthy of being called as much. If I don't, he might stop assigning me work, and I may as well leave the guild. I shall not let it come to that. No matter what it takes, I must find a way to prove myself. Oh, I simply forgot. I'm terribly sorry. I didn't mean to blabber on about my worries. After all, you're here for materials, aren't you? Here you are. Feel free to come back if it's not enough. Opening up a restaurant has always been a dream of mine. To think it might soon be within my grasp fills me with joy beyond belief. What have we here? Ahem. May I? Timbermaster Beaton. This table is exquisite. It is extremely sturdy, yet manages to maintain a sleek elegance. And these Doman-style engravings that run up and down the sides of the legs. If I did not know better, I'd guess they were the work of a more practiced pair of hands than your own, Semi. Now after, let us see yours. Ah, simple, but all the more stunning for it. The lacquer finish is a nice touch, a light gloss that is just enough to enhance the natural blush of the wood, not overpower it. While both of these are masterpieces in their own right, I will say this. The detailed engravings on the table are something even a highly skilled artisan would struggle to recreate. What do you think, sir? The moment I saw it, I knew which one of these I wanted. Desperately needed, even. I choose... this one. That after is a better carpenter than me, I won't deny. That she has skills I could only ever dream of attaining, I'll also admit, but I poured my heart and soul into that table. Sir, why is it you chose After's partitions over Semi's table? Simple, really. Dome and city folk are a private sort. They'd appreciate the way these wooden barriers would hide them from sight as they eat. The young lady's table is magnificent, a work of art even. However, it doesn't fulfill the needs of my customers like these partitions do. Seems the time it took to carve the intricate detailing on this table would have been better spent interviewing the local citizens. Semi, do you understand now why it is that you lost? You were so focused on demonstrating your own skill that you disregarded the needs of your clients. After, on the other hand, spoke with the residents of this village, which inspired her to create these partitions, a product that places the customer's needs above all else. In that sense, the difference between your table and her partitions is the difference between a decent carpenter and a master of the craft. That said, this is where your journey ends. I expect to see the both of you back in Gridania shortly after I return. No. No, it can't be. Please tell me Timbermaster Beaton hasn't given up on me. Oh, what am I to do? Is your friend alright? While I cannot claim to understand what any of that was about, I'd like to thank you for your wonderful contribution. It's sure to suit my restaurant perfectly. Take me back. Timbermaster Beaton, thank the matron you've returned. The drawers of this desk you made for me are broken. Is there a chance they can be fixed? I shall see what can be done. After all, I can hardly say no to someone who has so cherished one of my creations as you have. Timbermaster Beaton, sir. My son. He's just been accepted into the Order of the Twin Adder. To celebrate, I'd like to have you craft him a fine spear. Order of the Twin Adder. That's quite the accomplishment. Very well, I shall make him one that will see him through all of his battles. Wait, sir, come back! Oh, I also had a request for him. Suppose it'll have to wait. Should have known getting the finest carpenter of all Gridania to make something for you wasn't going to be an easy task. Excuse me, if you don't mind my asking, why is it that all of you like Timbermaster Beaton so much? When you ask him to make something, he creates the item for you and you alone. Dinner made too hot now. Yeah, that's why I'm glad that I just heated up some leftovers. To make something for that person and that person alone. Thinking back, that's how I first got into carpentry. I was born into a family poorer than dirt. One where we couldn't afford to purchase even the most basic of furniture. My mother raised us by herself, working from dawn until dusk so that my sisters and I wouldn't go to bed hungry every night. As a result, she pushed herself too hard, and one day the pain in her back became too much to bear. Seeing her suffering drove me to make her an armchair in which she could rest from time to time. It was all the young me could think to do. While the finished product creaked and buckled under her weight, not for a single moment as I was making it did I lose sight of the fact I was doing it all for her. I've been so preoccupied with myself, with trying to prove my skills, that somewhere along the way I forgot the most important thing. It is never too late to remember and begin anew. Semi, the key to harnessing your own potential is to recognize that it is holding you back. No, what is holding you back? From here, you can only grow. Yes, sir. You're absolutely right. There's still hope for me. After, thank you for supporting me until now. It's only because of you that I've come this far. In fact, I'd go as far to say that our grand adventures together have made me feel as though I've been born again. I'm looking forward to exploring the world of carpentry once more. He's not the only one who owes you a debt of gratitude. While I'm skilled at working with wood, I'm not nearly so adept at dealing with people and their problems. You've helped Semi in ways I could not. You are part of the reason I have such high hopes for the girl. With a mentor like you to look up to, she will no doubt flourish. That is why I ask that you speak with her one last time before you leave. Hey, Gwyd. You hear that we're not wearing pants today. You need to validate these claims as the pants police? Uh-huh. Yeah, no, that sounds believable. After, you'll be happy to hear that Timbermaster Beaton has finally deemed my work good enough to begin taking on some of my own clients. Isn't it so exciting? That's not to say I'll forget about my studies or the guild's troubles. However, in between commissions, I'll be spending my time practicing how to make oriental furniture. That way I can retain all I learned from our trips to Kugane and Namai. But that's not all. I'll be keeping the people we met there in mind. They'll help me to remember that I'm making this furniture not for myself, but for those around me. You'll see. I'm gonna work so hard that one day I'll be as good as you. You can fucking try, bitch. Fucking try it. You'll show me my badge so that I can show you my bulge? I don't think so. After, there you are. I was beginning to wonder when you'd show up. Timbermaster Beaton said he has some clients he wants to introduce to us. Go on then, you know where my DMs... I think you glossed over the fact that I said no. I don't think so. You just fixated entirely on the bulge part there, didn't you? You heard what you heard. Uh-huh. Well, don't just stand there, let's go! Look, I can show you my wood, alright? I have some of it. Look, I've got oak, I've got birch, white oak, I've even got some cassia. There you go, you've seen my wood. You're here, good. Gerhard, you remember after? Remember? Ha! I could hardly forget. It would be no exaggeration to say I owe this woman my life. In fact, the reason I'm here is related to the time After saved us. By the bow she brought, I was able to drive out the Ixali forces that threatened us. Our victory against them bolstered our unit's reputation, and we've been receiving new recruits by the dozen since. In our latest batch, we received a mixture of eager Alamegans and Gridanians. If you do not yet see the problem, allow me to explain. There have always been certain racial tensions between the refugees and locals. I thought holding a tea party... I thought holding a tea party might ease the unease between them. I was wrong. Now they seem to have an even greater aversion to one another. There you have it. I suggest you begin by speaking with Gerhard's recruits to see what exactly went wrong. If we can pinpoint the cause of their feud, it will make it that much easier for us to solve the problem. Yes, sir. You can count on me. Would you mind accompanying Semi? Mind you, this is an official request. It would not do to send someone who has yet to complete basic training to carry out this task alone. So it'll be the two of you then. Good. Now, I imagine most of my new recruits will be at and around the Adder's Nest. You'll have no trouble finding them. Once you've finished, see you report back to me. Yes, sir. Tea party is on par with Gridanians. I mean... Oh no, these two groups of people hate each other. Let's all sit down for a nice afternoon tea. That'll make everything blow over. If you're here to talk with the captain, you're here to speak with me! Why don't we like them? Well, it's obvious, isn't it? Every time we try to reach out to them, how are we repaid? With hostility. Take the tea party Captain Gerhard arranged for us, for example. We attended, hoping to turn over a new leaf. They, however, clearly came for different reasons entirely, because the moment we sat down, they served us Alamegan tea. Seems they have gone from refusing to accept our culture to openly spurning it. My apologies, but I'd like to leave it at that, lest anger get the better of me. If you wish to know more, however, perhaps you should try speaking with one of the Alamegan recruits. Okay, so they're butthurt that the tea came from somewhere else. How dare you serve me PG tips instead of Yorkshire tea? You'd be butthurt too. Well, as long as it's not Lipton's. I don't even like tea. I mean, I say that. I like iced tea. I like peach iced tea. But guess what peach iced tea I drink? Lipton's. Lipton's does do a pretty good peach iced tea. That is easily accessible in the UK. Because, like, I know that America is in, like, the vice grip of Arizona iced tea. To be fair, I haven't tried Arizona. I should try it. You're more of an Ahmad girly. I don't even... Ahmad sounds Middle Eastern. But I don't know anything about it. Oh, it's just a tea company. Fair enough. Because I know that obviously tea comes from the East. I mean, didn't it originally come from China? China. And you looked it up and it's apparently British. I mean, again, I'm not someone that drinks. But... yeah, I can't say I know this brand. I mean, they look awfully similar to, like, Twinings. But it might be that I've seen it and just mistook it for Twinings. Oh god, thinking of American tea, do you remember Brisk? The shit was brown sugar in a can. Don't know if it's still around or not. You recently made hibiscus tea to chill. That was good. Oh yeah, hibiscus is very common agua fresca in Mexico. Yeah. You got a black tea with cardamom from them, and it was very delicious. Oh yeah, cardamom, especially black cardamom, appears in chai quite a lot. I mean, chai just being the Indian word for tea. But yeah. I don't drink tea, really. Again, I like a peach iced tea, but I don't really consider that tea. But my mum likes Lady Grey, which is similar to Earl Grey, but it's a slightly different blend in that it has bergamot in it. Like the grey theories of teas are characterized by the fact that they have bergamot peel in them, so they're quite perfumey and citrusy. Oh yeah, it's not full masala chai, but yeah. Cardamom is a very common spice in chai, is all. Agua de Jamaica iced hibiscus tea is really good with Mexican food. Your understanding was Earl Grey's with bergamot and Lady Grey's with orange. Nope. Lady Grey differs in that it contains additional lemon and orange peel. So you're not wrong that it has orange in it, whereas Earl Grey doesn't. But it's not instead of, it's as well as. So it's just more citrusy. Yeah. I was tempted to get some hibiscus to infuse into the syrup that I made for the lemon drizzle cake I made the other day. Just because, like, a rosy tinted lemon drizzle cake sounded quite nice. But it could also look fucking horrific. I should do it. I will probably not make lemon drizzle for a little bit. Because I need... I've got 2 or 3 more of these full of cake. And then the next thing I bake is probably going to either be frangipan, like a Bakewell tart style situation, but as a cake, or chocolate chip cookies. Possibly even both. And I don't have any hibiscus yet. I have butterfly pea blossom though. Left over from my mixology days. I have butterfly pea blossom and dried orange as like the circles, like rounds of dried orange. Because butterfly pea blossom makes a really like blue inky alcohol extraction that turns to pink with acid. So that would serve a similar role in if I was to add it to like the syrup, but it would be very, very pink because it would be with lemon juice. Rose should be a flavor in more sweets. Rose is very sort of Eastern European and Middle Eastern style cuisine. You get it quite a lot in like Turkish and Persian cookery. Which, thinking about it, I should really try more like baklava and stuff. You have to get the flowers or tea from the local international supermarket. Yeah, I'd probably get there might be a place that sells it near me, but probably not. So I'd probably have to get it off the internet in order to get like just dried hibiscus rather than hibiscus and something tea. You love desserts with rose water and pistachios and the like, except baklava. Too much honey for you. That's fair. There's something that is... It's not baklava, but it's loosely adjacent to from India. I think it's more like marzipan-y. Burfi? I think it's burfi. Yeah, milk-based sweet from the Indian subcontinent with a fudge-like consistency. Okay, it is nothing like baklava. I guess it's just similar in that you'll tend to have like small bits of it, like as petit four, rather than like having a slab of it. Look, I know some stuff about food. I haven't tried everything. I don't have that many sweets, to be fair. I mean, I say that when I snack a lot on everything, but I'm not much of a dessert guy, generally. Most of the time, I would rather have a bigger portion of something savory than having a dessert as well. It's not to say I don't enjoy desserts, I just don't tend to have them that frequently. Yeah. Qualifications: knows at least one thing about food, perhaps multiple things. Perhaps. Mayhaps, indeed. Yeah, the thing is, I'm generally not like a huge fan of the really gelatinous textures. Like, not jelly as something that is, you know, almost entirely gelatin. I don't mind, but I wouldn't ever necessarily go for it. But like, I don't like I suppose less gelatinous and more glutinous, like mochi. I'm not a massive fan of mochi. I think I would prefer the like savory grilled mochi over sweet mochi. But I've only ever had sweet mochi. And a a lot of the sweet things that I have tried are European. I'd be interested in trying more, like, Jewish and Persian heritage desserts. Because there's what, there's that orange cake that I think is quite Jewish. I might be completely... Yeah, orange and almond cake. That shit sounds right up my fucking alley. And it is Jewish. Good, I'm not just racist. Oh no, I couldn't stand an aspic. No. I'm very sensitive to vinegar. I don't like vinegar very much, and aspic is generally quite vinegary. But I know what an aspic is. If you're having a dessert, it's because you're intentionally eating sweets, generally not at the end of a meal. Yeah. Mochi's the texture thing for you too. The gelatinous rice. Nope. Yeah. Like, I don't mind sticky rice. But there's something about the texture of mochi that just... Yeah. I want to like it, but I don't. But again, perhaps savory mochi I would prefer. Maybe it's the texture with being sweet that doesn't work in my head. Your dad's friend would make a really good orange cake at Passover time. Yeah. Like, I've seen a lot of, like, I like orange, I like citrus, like, lemon drizzle cake is one of my favorite cakes. It's my go-to baked good. That I'm not a baker, but I make lemon drizzle cake. But yeah, my understanding is that orange cake is more like, it's less just sweet and it's more bittersweet, which I quite like as well. He told you it's made by boiling entire oranges and making a pure... That would, yeah, including the peel and the rind, yes, that would explain the bitter sweet, because it would have all the pith and stuff in it as well. Yeah. Right, I need a drink, which means you see nothing for a moment. I didn't forget. And then it was served with a mascarpone topping. Ooh. Don't know how I'd feel about that. I'd have to try it. I suppose having some kind of a lactic... Yeah. No, that makes sense. I don't know, mascarpone is one of those things that I just don't tend to have. I also don't... the main dairy that I consume is probably cheddar or sour cream, and that's about it. Like what you're allegedly wearing on the bottom half. Look, I'm definitely fully covered under here. I'm certainly not Donald Ducking it. I don't know what could possibly give you that implication. Like, I don't know what's making you think that. I appreciate that you may be being blinded. Anyway, what are you looking at? Is there something you need? If not, I suggest you move along. You're a fucking charmer, aren't you? Those questions sound an awful lot like the ones Captain Gerard asked us yesterday. Is he the one that put you up to this? Every day we Alamegans bleed and fight and die to protect this country, and yet the Gridanians still regard us with the same suspicion and resentment that they do Beastmen. Even so, we decided the tea party Captain Gerhard arranged was a good chance for us to establish some common ground with them and find a way to lay aside some of our differences. We thought serving Alamegan tea would be a good way to break the ice, but no! Our kind gesture was met only with disdainful stares. Well, no longer will we be made to feel worthless by the Gridanians. From now on, we'll have nothing to do with them. Perfect chance to this weekend to tan. You'll have to show proof to back up these claims, though. Get your Donald Duck tan, not the Donald Duck tan. Only the lower half is tanned, and it is fully tanned. No, the problem is, I wouldn't take off my shirt. So I'd have farmer's tan on the top, which I already kind of have. You can't really tell because these lights bleach everything out anyway. But, like, there is a very defined line in my tan from where the t-shirt is, because I never take my top off. So if I then had that on my legs as well, it would look so weird. It would look like I was wearing a white t-shirt even when I was wearing nothing. Enjoy that image. I know you will. Or at least I know Gwyd will. Well, now you think that I should do that for the lols. No, because that means that I need to be, like, laying out on my lawn. Like, starfishing in just a t-shirt and boxers. And no, I don't want to do that. I have neighbors. And I know full well that if I did do that, Nyx would come and, like, lay on me. So then I would have this weird pussycat-shaped white splodge. Go to the nude beach, but wear a shirt and just a shirt. I don't know if there are any nude beaches in the UK. There's probably at least one, but I don't know. Probably not. It's also cold. Keep digging that hole. Look, if I get excited, I might have to dig a hole, but I would, you know, again, I don't want to do this. I see you've spoken with some of Gerhard's newest recruits. Do you have any idea on how we might put an end to their feud? A striking dummy should do the trick. A Far Eastern-style tea party should end bickering. A matching set of furniture would bring them together. No, Far Eastern style. Far Eastern-themed tea party. Just might work. No one would feel as though they were being snubbed, and the interesting setting might even provide them with a topic of conversation. You recall the tea house benches of Kugane, do you not? Very good. I suggest you craft one. Keep digging that hole. There are a bunch. With all this wood you have to handle, imagine not getting excited. Success is only possible if each of the members of the squad completely trust one another. So we're gonna get together, drink tea, and talk about boys. What's this? I've never seen anything like it. Why does it fit into the palm of my hand? What is this? A tea bench for ants? You're looking at a tea house bench, the quality and make of which is identical to those crafted by the master carpenters of the Far East. Now, Semi, what have you made for us? Allow me to present you with this. It's a pipe bomb. This is the exact same thing as Aftercrafted. What led you to decide upon a tea house bench? After speaking with the initiates, I surmised both sides had attended the tea party, hoping to reconcile their differences. Given the right environment, I reckon they still can. So I thought, why not hold a Far Eastern-style tea party? Not only would it provide them with a relaxed atmosphere, but it would give them a chance to bond over a culture that's different from their own. That you have begun taking the needs of the clients into consideration, and in doing so come to the same conclusion as after, is evidence that you have matured as a carpenter. Well done. Now, it's time to put your benches to the test. I would have the two of you take them to Apkalu Falls and set them up. Gerhard, gather your subordinates and After and Semi there. I will join you all shortly. Very well. Welcome, everyone. While I know our last tea party was by no means a rousing success, I appreciate how willing most of you were to give this idea a second chance. The fact that overleveling and getting trained eye completely trivializes an entire crafting quest line feels like some sort of oversight, to be honest. I challenge you to make me this high-quality item, because I will definitely be a challenge for you in this level range. And then you just press 2 buttons and the quest is done. The thing is that being overleveled, even if I didn't use trained eye, like, I am so overleveled that I could do the quality and synthesis, quality and progress button, and probably craft a high quality one in one click. And that's just because of the way that the stats work. If they'd made it, like an expert craft that was scaled to your level, then casual crafters would find that too difficult. It's just the issue of me going back and doing old content. I do think that trained eye should have more stuff that it is exempt from, though. Like these story items, I feel like shouldn't allow you to use trained eye on them. But meh. It wouldn't have been difficult even without it. It seems some of you felt that certain cultures were disrespected at our last get-together. For that, I apologize. People literally do this as a strat to avoid actually learning how to do a crafting rotation, though. Yes! Because they're casual crafters who are just doing it to level stuff so that they can repair things and all the rest of it. But, like, even without trained eye, if you've got level 80 or 90 gear, I could do these crafts without trying. It's only when you're doing it, like, on content, on level, that it's really any level of difficult. It's just that crafts don't scale, whereas when you go and do some of the like combat class quests, they'll level sync you, or they'll scale to your level, or at least somewhat scale to your level. Although again, that's more the role quests rather than the job quests. But you feel like using the expert system at low level would actually be a good solution, to be honest. I think perhaps having that as being the like level 50, the capstone quest could make sense. But also, I think making it so that trained eye just doesn't work on... Like, it would only really affect... No, I think the role quests from Crafter role quests do have some unique crafts similar to how they did it in Stormblood. So just making it so that you can't use trained eye on those regardless of your level. So not necessarily making them expert, but just making them not that easy to make high quality. It wouldn't fix everything, but it would make it a little bit better. But you'd then get complaints from the casual crafters. So... And it's not like, at this point, it's not like the casual crafters wouldn't just go and find a macro that does it for them anyway. So, it's one of those things of, it would only be significant to the people that wanted to do it, who are the people that would try and learn anyway. Meh. Regardless of where you're from, I value and respect every one of you. As you should each know, for we are brothers and sisters in arms. Family, if you will. I hope that this gathering the craftsmen of the Carpenters Guild helped me organize will allow you to realize that. Now for the fun part. There's 2 guys. That's it. Was it just those 2 guys? Did they just have mad beef? A friend of yours told you that when you just started to pick up crafters, don't use any macros until you finish the level 70 quests, and now you're the guy explaining what went wrong and how to fix it whenever your friend's macros fail. Yeah. It's good to know what's going on, but if you're someone who is only doing crafting for the sake of leveling something, or maybe so that you can craft one thing that you'll look up the macro on how best to craft it and all the rest of it, you're not, like, you can't make those people care, even if you made it expert. Like, you still wouldn't make those people care. I think it's one of those ones that they're unless they changed intrinsically the way that they handle crafting, I don't think it's something that can be like necessarily fixed. Because in fixing it for the people that care, you break it for all of the people that don't care. And the people that don't care probably outnumber the people that care. As one of the only people that is leveled crafter in my static. But, 'cause, 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 you're doing it for the sake of the glamour crafts. Yeah. And, like, I've done it because I wanted to be able to craft glamours, craft the extreme weapons, everything, as well as being able to repair my own gear so that I don't have to go to fucking menders, all that shit. But at the same time, I can craft, I just don't do it most of the time, because I don't need to. But I can craft stuff. But I'm also not one of those people that is, you know, doing on-content savages and shit like that, where you want to make sure that you're constantly at the peak of eye level as it comes out, which some of the time involves having the crafted sets. So it doesn't really matter if I'm crafting stuff that's on level. Meh. The most useful thing is that I can just repair whenever I want, including in dungeons. What do you think, everyone? Before you is an exact replica of a tea house in Kugane. It's a bench and an umbrella. Kugane, as in the Far Eastern port city. Well, I suppose these decorations do have a certain exotic charm. Kugane-style tea party, Everything looks so elegant. These furnishings are almost as beautiful as those found here in Gridania. Carpentry is culture. Culture is ever present in our lives. One can learn a great deal about a people simply by looking at their furniture. Sitting here upon these benches has made me realize that there are many magnificent things in this world. In my narrow-mindedness, I nearly missed out on them. This is funnier when you remember this game was made by Japanese people. Yep. We should have taken the time to learn more about you and where you're from. We eat meals together. We fight together, and yet because of our reluctance to speak with you, we know almost nothing about you. For that, we're sorry. Nah, it's we who must apologise. While many of us consider Gridania to be a second home, there's a lot about your culture we've yet to fully grasp. We're both having seizures. Let us raise our cups and give a toast to the start of a new and beautiful friendship. Oh shit, there were other people! Where did they come from? Jump scare. Let me get over my racism by, checks notes, indulging in Orientalism. Yeah. Let me get over my racism by cultural appropriation. When has that ever gone wrong? Have you all been enjoying yourselves? Yes, it's been a long time since I talked so much or laughed so hard. I thought we had absolutely nothing in common, but I was mistaken. Indeed, the more we speak, the more I come to realize how alike we are. I'm glad we finally found a way to put our differences aside. Good. Remember, on the battlefield it matters not where you're from or where you were raised. Only that you survive. For that, you'll need to rely on each other. Never forget that. It really is just a bench and a parasol, though. I don't know if that's enough to be considered a tea house, but apparently it is. Well done, the both of you. While fulfilling the client's needs with great finesse is something I've come to expect of after, you surprised me, Semi. That you had the same idea as one of our guild's best artisans proves you are one step closer to becoming a fully fledged carpenter. Do not, however, mistake that to mean the items the two of you crafted are of a comparable quality. Even to the untrained eye, one is far superior to the other. Quality, however, is not everything. Your client has walked away feeling completely satisfied, and that is a tremendous accomplishment. Tremendous accomplishment. Semi, if you continue to work hard, perhaps someday you'll come to be as good as this talented woman besides you. Thank you, sir. I shall remember this moment and continue honing my skills that they might one day rival afters. I nearly forgot. If I may be so bold as to ask, sir, what is to become of our guild? Will we recover from debt anytime soon? I beg your pardon? What debt? So long as we continue to receive commissions from the Order of the Twin Adder, we need not want for capital. But, sir, if not for the guild, why are you working yourself so hard? You wouldn't even stop to take meals. Ah, yes, I was temporarily overcome by a desperate need to reconnect with the wood. To achieve this, I began living as though a tree would, taking in only sunlight and water. I really need to stop jumping to conclusions. Oh, and after, please allow me to thank you once again. While it was a misunderstanding on my part that led us to the Far East, I couldn't be happier with the results. I'll be eternally grateful to you for seeing me through this journey and for all that you taught me. Though this particular adventure may be over, I have no doubts we will embark upon another together in the near future. Until then, I shall continue to practice, and practice some more. When you next see me, I may nearly be as good as you. Your ability to inspire people never fails to astound me. It is no small part thanks to you Semi has grown as much as she has. Your talent and the love you hold for your craft is a rarity even among the elite. I hope that you'll continue to use both to serve men and women all across Eorzea. Gotcha. And just like that, we're done beating our wood. The remaining quests for Carpenter are from Shadowbringers on, which are more like the role quests that are also in Shadowbringers on. So what I'm probably going to do is do all of the other crafters and maybe the gatherers up to and including Stormblood, and then do Shadowbringers onward. As like their own chunks of complete the Shadowbringers stuff, move on to Endwalker and so on. But yeah, we're done with Carpenter. Next will be Blacksmith. So I will try and craft... It's going to look no different. I will try and craft everything for the blacksmith quests before next week. Which will mean that I need to sort my inventory out some. Oh no. Hopefully by that point I will also be further along in the Bosnia grind. And I think by next week we'll have the next event, which is the Make It Rain campaign coming back. But it's also where we will get the Otter backpack that was leaked just the other patch. Hello. I feel like it's been a while since I've seen Fairy Tactician. Oh god. Anyway, I need to go. You were on stream like 2 weeks ago. Fair. Oh yeah, because didn't we do Clytium together? No, I don't think we did Clytium together. Did we? Look, I have terrible memory. It's fine. Anyway, I need to go and get ready for raid. Oh, you were just lurking during Ishgard crafting. That was last week. Yeah, that was last week. Anyway, yeah. I'm gonna go and get ready to hopefully kill Bahamut. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you tomorrow for more Remnant 2. In the UK, it is a bank holiday weekend, so there will also be, that's me being invited to the party for the raid. So there should be a stream on Monday as well, an all-day stream. So we will almost certainly be finishing off the Apocalypse run of Remnant 2. Anyway, thank you guys very much. I'll see you next time. Later.